Imagine for a moment that there are certain windows in time when the universe leans closer to listen. Imagine that there are moments when your energy, your thoughts, and your emotions are amplified, where the invisible becomes more tangible, where your words carry greater weight, and where your intention echoes through the field in ways that you can't see with your eyes, but can feel with every part of your being. August 28, 11/11 is one of those moments. Why? Because energy follows intention. Numbers are not random. Patterns are not coincidences. When consciousness gathers around a specific moment in time, when millions of people pause, reflect, and align, the field becomes more coherent. And coherence is power. Think about it. Your body is made of vibrations. Your brain is broadcasting electrical signals. Your heart is radiating magnetic waves. You are a transmitter and a receiver. And in specific aligned moments like 11/11, your signal is boosted. Your ability to influence reality multiplies. That's why what you speak, what you think, and what you feel in that moment matters. Now let's go deeper. Your words are not just sounds, they are frequencies. When you speak with intention, you are literally coding reality. Neuroscience has shown us that when you repeat words charged with emotion, your brain begins to rewire itself. Neurons fire and wire together, creating new pathways. If you say, I am abundant, I am free, I am aligned with my highest reality, with deep conviction, your body doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. It begins to prepare you for that future. Your brain produces the chemistry of that experience. Your heart begins to emit a frequency that signals to the quantum field, this is who I am becoming. There are moments in time that act like gateways, portals where the ordinary merges with the extraordinary, where the unseen currents of energy become more available to those who are paying attention. When we look at the flow of life, it isn't random. It moves in patterns, cycles, alignments that are constantly offering us opportunities to synchronize with something greater than ourselves. These windows are like energetic intersections. And when you arrive consciously, when you are aware and intentional, you have the chance to amplify your influence on reality itself. August 28 at 11:11 is not just a date and a number. It is a convergence, a moment that carries with it a heightened field of alignment, a rhythm of the universe that says, here is your chance. Step in. Timing has always mattered. Think of the natural world, the migration of birds, the blossoming of flowers, the tides that move with the pull of the moon. Everything responds to cycles. Everything aligns with rhythm. If you plant a seed in winter, it will not sprout, but if you wait for spring, it flourishes effortlessly. Manifestation works in the same way. When you align your inner world with the natural rhythm of the outer world, your efforts are amplified. And when numbers like 11/11 appear, they are symbols reminding us that energy is ordered, that consciousness is structured, and that you are part of a greater pattern unfolding. Now, why does alignment matter? Imagine that your life is a frequency, a signal that you are constantly transmitting. Most people broadcast unconsciously. Their thoughts are scattered, their emotions are reactive, their energy is incoherent. But in moments of alignment, when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions synchronize with a greater rhythm, your signal becomes coherent. And coherence is power. Just as a laser is more powerful than scattered light, a coherent mind and heart are far more influential than a distracted one. Timing provides the stage, alignment provides the harmony, and together they allow you to create with precision. When you become aware of a specific moment, like 11/11, you are stepping into resonance with the collective field. Around the world, countless people notice this pattern, focus on it, give it meaning. That collective attention generates coherence in the field. And when you add your personal intention to that already amplified energy, your broadcast is strengthened. It is no longer just you influencing your reality, but you riding a wave of shared resonance. This is why timing matters, not because the number itself is magical, because it is a symbol that draws focus, and focus is energy. Think about it in terms of your own biology. The body is a rhythmic system. The heart beats in patterns. The brain fires in waves. The breath flows in cycles. When your inner rhythms are out of sync, you feel stress, fatigue, and resistance. But when you bring them into alignment, when the breath is steady, the heart coherent, the brain synchronized, you feel clarity, balance, and flow. Now extend this idea outward just as your body seeks alignment within itself. You can align with the greater rhythms of the cosmos. Timing is the outer invitation. Alignment is your inner response. When you step into that alignment, you collapse randomness. Life stops feeling chaotic and begins to feel orchestrated. Synchronicities appear. The right person calls, the opportunity arrives, the path clears. You may call it coincidence, but it is not random. It is resonance. It is you vibrating at a frequency that matches a possibility already existing in the field, and timing provides the bridge. So imagine arriving at August 28, 11, fully aware of the significance of timing. You slow down, you center yourself, you breathe into the present moment. Instead of letting the time pass unnoticed, you step consciously into it, aligning thought and feeling with intention. In that instant, you are no longer a passive observer of time, but an active participant in creation. You are meeting the universe at the intersection it has prepared for you. And in that meeting, something greater can be born. That is the power of timing and alignment. It is not superstition, it is resonance. It is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It is about recognizing that certain moments hold greater potential. And when you align your inner state with that potential, you amplify your ability to influence the field. You become the seed planted in spring, blossoming effortlessly because you chose the right moment to grow. Every word you speak is carrying a vibration, a frequency that ripples into the field around you. Most people think of language as nothing more than a way to communicate, but it is so much more than that. Words are energy made visible through sound, and sound is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. The moment you open your mouth and release a thought into sound, you are shaping reality in ways that most of us were never taught to understand. Science has already shown us that everything in existence is vibration. At the most fundamental level, matter is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your body, your brain, your emotions, even your thoughts, they all oscillate. And when you speak, you are adding to that symphony of frequencies. Think of your words as carriers of information, each syllable encoded with meaning, emotion, and intention. The sound travels through the air, but its influence doesn't stop there. It penetrates your body, your cells, your subconscious mind, and it also radiates outward into the quantum field. This is why the language you use matters. If you constantly declare words of lack, words of fear, words of limitation, those frequencies shape your biology and your future. Your brain hears it, your body feels it, and the field records it. Over time, those repeated patterns of language become the script of your life. You don't even realize that you are speaking your reality into existence. Most people live inside a loop, recycling the same words, reinforcing the same states of being, and wondering why nothing changes. Now imagine shifting that pattern. Imagine choosing words consciously, words that are aligned with who you want to become instead of who you have been. When you begin to speak abundance, freedom, joy, and wholeness, your words send a new signal to your brain. The neurons start firing in different patterns. Pathways that were once wired for limitation begin to dissolve and new connections form. Your body receives new chemistry because your brain produces the neurochemicals that match the words you are speaking. You are literally changing your inner environment through the vibration of language. But it goes even deeper. When emotion is paired with words, the signal is magnified. A flat, mechanical sentence has little effect. But when you speak with passion, conviction, and elevated feeling, your whole body resonates with that frequency. Your heart, which radiates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, begins to broadcast the message outward. And that field interacts with the quantum reality around you. You are not just talking, you are transmitting. The field responds not only to what you think, but to the vibration you emit. Experiments with sound and frequency have shown that vibration can organize matter. Patterns emerge when sound waves move through sand or water, forming beautiful geometries known as somatics. If sound can shape matter so precisely, what do you think your words are doing to the water within your body, to the cells, to the DNA listening to every vibration you release? You are far more influential than you realize. When you repeat words with consistency, they begin to program the subconscious mind. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between truth and fiction. It simply accepts repetition as reality. If you tell yourself every day, I am abundant, and you feel it, your subconscious begins to adopt it as identity. And because your subconscious governs your automatic behaviors, perceptions, and even your physiology, your life starts to reorganize around that declaration. Your language literally becomes your destiny. But here is where most people miss the point. You cannot simply say the words while feeling the opposite. The vibration is not in the sound alone. It is in the coherence between thought, word, and emotion. When you align all three, the frequency is amplified into a powerful broadcast. That is when the field takes notice. That is when coincidences, opportunities, and synchronicities begin to appear. Think of the words you speak as tuning forks. Each word strikes a note, and that note reverberates within you and beyond you. If you keep striking the same note of limitation, your life will echo back limitation. If you strike the note of freedom and abundance, and you keep striking it consistently with emotion and intention, your life will eventually resonate with that. It cannot be otherwise, because energy always seeks coherence. So every word you speak is an act of creation. Every sentence is a signal. When you become conscious of this truth, you stop using language carelessly. You stop repeating the old stories of lack, fear, and suffering because you recognize that every time you say them, you reinforce them. Instead, you begin to use words as tools, as codes that shape the frequency of your future. The subconscious mind is the invisible operating system that runs almost everything in your life. It stores your memories, your habits, your automatic responses, your deepest beliefs, and more than 90% of your daily behavior comes from it. It is like a program running silently in the background, directing your choices, filtering your perceptions, and shaping your reality. You may believe you are making conscious decisions, but most of the time you are simply acting out the patterns that have been imprinted over years of repetition. If you want to create a new future, if you want to break free from the cycles of the past, you must learn how to rewire this subconscious system with clear intention. The subconscious mind does not respond to logic. It does not respond to willpower. It responds to repetition, emotion, and imagery. Think of it as fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant consistently will eventually grow, whether those seeds are positive or negative. For many people, the seeds that have been planted are rooted in survival, beliefs of unworthiness, fear, lack, or limitation. These beliefs were often formed early in life and have been rehearsed so many times that they feel like truth. But the truth is they are just programs, and programs can be rewritten. Intention is the tool that begins this process. And intention is more than a thought. It is a focused declaration of who you are choosing to become. When you set a clear intention, you are giving the subconscious new instructions. You are saying, this is the reality I choose to live. This is the state of being I decide to embody. The key is to pair that intention with elevated emotion, because the subconscious learns through feeling. If you say, I am abundant, but feel lack, the subconscious hears the lack. But if you declare abundance and then feel gratitude, joy, or freedom as if it is already true, the subconscious begins to accept the message. It starts to reprogram the neural circuits in your brain and the chemical patterns in your body to match the new state of being. When you repeat an intention with emotion, neurons in the brain begin to fire in new ways. They form connections that weren't there before. Over time, as you continue to practice, those connections become stronger and the old ones begin to weaken. This is neuroplasticity in action. You are literally reshaping the wiring of your brain through conscious intention. And once the brain changes, the body follows, because the brain is always sending signals to the body through chemistry. Your body begins to feel the future before it happens, and that new feeling becomes your familiar state. This is where true change begins to take hold. When the subconscious accepts the new program, it stops resisting. Instead of automatically pulling you back into the old habits and emotions, it starts to carry out the new instructions. You wake up feeling different. You begin to act differently without effort. You attract situations and opportunities that match your new vibration because the subconscious is no longer holding you captive in the past. The process requires consistency because the subconscious has been conditioned for years to believe in the old self. It will try to return to familiar patterns. But every time you redirect it with intention, every time you pair thought with elevated emotion, you are weakening the old program and strengthening the new one. Eventually, the new pattern becomes more familiar than the old one. At that point, transformation feels natural. You are not trying to change. You are simply being the new version of yourself. The subconscious is like the guardian of your reality. It only gives you experiences that match its programming. So if you want a different reality, you must change the program. And intention is the password that opens the gate. But it cannot be vague. The subconscious does not respond well to unclear instructions. It needs clarity, consistency, and conviction. When you give it those three, you take the driver's seat of your destiny. So consider what happens when you set an intention and embody it fully. You are broadcasting a new signal to your subconscious and to the field around you. That signal magnetizes experiences that align with it. This is why intention is not just a wish. It is not hoping something will happen. It is declaring with clarity, aligning with feeling, and repeating until the subconscious has no choice but to believe. Once it does, reality reorganizes to match the belief. At the deepest level of reality, beneath the molecules, beneath the atoms, beneath even the particles, there is a field of pure potential. Physicists call it the quantum field. It is invisible, yet it holds the blueprint for everything that exists. It is the space where all possibilities reside, waiting to be observed, waiting to be chosen. The life you are living now is one version of reality, one pattern you have collapsed out of the infinite, but the field contains countless others Futures you could step into the moment you begin to align your thoughts, your emotions, and your energy with a different possibility. The fascinating truth is that your body and mind are already connected to this field. Every thought you think sends out an electrical signal. Every emotion you feel produces a magnetic charge, and together they form an electromagnetic signature that radiates into the field. This signature is your personal broadcast. It is the signal that determines what you attract, what you perceive, and what you experience. Most people keep sending the same signal day after day, the same thoughts about their limitations, the same emotions tied to the past, the same familiar energy. The field simply reflects it back as the same reality. But the moment you change the signal, the field has to respond. When your inner world shifts, your outer world begins to shift with it. This is the essence of the quantum connection, the realization that you are not separate from the field, but constantly interacting with it. The field is not somewhere outside of you. You are immersed in it, influencing it with every vibration you emit. The energy you radiate is like a frequency, and just like a radio station, you can only receive the station you are tuned into. If you are tuned to the frequency of fear, you will encounter experiences that validate fear. If you are tuned to gratitude, joy, or abundance, you begin to draw on experiences that resonate with those elevated states. The field does not judge. It simply matches coherence. Science has shown that the heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body. When you feel elevated emotions, gratitude, love, inspiration, the heart becomes coherent, and that coherence strengthens the broadcast you are sending into the quantum field. Combine that with clear, focused thoughts, intentions that define what you are choosing to experience, and suddenly your signal is strong, ordered, and powerful. Thought is the electrical charge, emotion is the magnetic pull. Together, they create a force that interacts with possibility itself. What many people fail to see is that the future already exists in the quantum field. Every version of you, the abundant you, the healed you, the inspired you, the free you, is already there as potential. You don't have to create it. You only have to connect to it. When you think the thought and feel the emotion of that future, you are tuning yourself to its frequency. And once you are tuned in, you begin to collapse that possibility into your present reality. This is not metaphor. This is the science of how energy and consciousness interact. The quantum field is an endless ocean of information, and you are both the receiver and the transmitter. If your signal is incoherent, if your thoughts are scattered and your emotions are contradictory, the message you send is weak and your future remains random. But when your mind and heart align, when your broadcast becomes one clear, coherent frequency, the field reorganizes around it. That is when synchronicities appear. That is when opportunities seem to find you. That is when the invisible becomes visible. You are never cut off from this connection. You are using it all the time, whether consciously or unconsciously. The difference is awareness. When you begin to live consciously, when you deliberately align your energy with the future you choose instead of the past you have memorized, you reclaim your power as a creator. You stop waiting for the external world to change before you feel differently, and instead you feel differently first so the external world can follow. So imagine this connection as a dance with infinity. Each thought is a step, each emotion a rhythm, and the field responds in kind. When you live in survival, your dance is chaotic and repetitive. But when you live in coherence, your steps align with the deeper order of the universe. You move in harmony with possibility itself, and life begins to unfold with an elegance that feels like magic but is actually science. The more you practice aligning your broadcast, the more natural the connection becomes until you no longer hope for change. You expect it because you know that the quantum field is always responding. To truly step into the life you desire, it is not enough to think about it, wish for it, or even visualize it. Transformation happens when you embody it. Embodiment means you begin to live, breathe, and feel as if the version of you that you dream of becoming is already here, already real, already alive within you. It is carrying the future into the present moment so completely that your body, your mind, and your energy cannot tell the difference. When you embody your highest self, you stop waiting for change and you start being the change. Most people live their lives repeating the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, and feeling the same emotions tied to their past. They keep rehearsing who they have been, and in doing so, they anchor themselves to the same predictable reality. They may hope for something different, but hope is passive. Embodiment, on the other hand, is active. It is choosing to walk into your future with such conviction that your body begins to rewire itself to match that future before it arrives. The body is the subconscious mind, and it memorizes states of being. If you spend years feeling unworthy, your body becomes conditioned to unworthiness. If you rehearse stress daily, your body learns to live in stress. That memorized state becomes automatic. And even if your conscious mind wants something new, your body drags you back to the old self. But the moment you embody a new state of being, you begin to teach the body something different. You signal to your biology that it is time to leave the past behind. Embodiment begins with imagination, but it cannot end there. You must go beyond thought and step into feeling. When you imagine your highest self abundant, free, healthy, joyful, you have to feel it. And when you feel it, your brain produces the chemistry of that reality, and your body begins to experience it as if it is happening now. Neurons fire, pathways wire, and new circuits begin to form. The subconscious starts to accept the new state, and the body learns to live in that frequency. That is embodiment, aligning thought, feeling, and action with the identity of your future self until it becomes second nature. Think of it like an actor stepping into a role. At first, it feels like pretending. The actor rehearses the lines, puts on the costume, imitates the mannerisms. But with practice, the role begins to feel natural. Eventually, the actor no longer feels like they are pretending. They feel like they have become the character. In the same way, at first, embodying your highest self may feel unnatural, like you are faking it. But with repetition, your nervous system adapts. What once felt unfamiliar becomes familiar, and what once felt impossible becomes automatic. Embodiment is also about action. You cannot say you are abundant and then act from lack. You cannot declare love while behaving from fear. To embody means to align your choices, your behaviors, and your energy with the vision of your future self. Every action becomes a rehearsal of the new identity. Every choice is a vote for the person you are becoming. And each time you choose in alignment, you strengthen the signal you are broadcasting into the field. Your energy is always teaching your body what reality to expect. If you embody stress, the body expects more stress. If you embody gratitude, the body expects more to be grateful for. When you embody your highest self, you train your biology to expect miracles, to anticipate abundance, to prepare for expansion. And because energy influences matter, the external world begins to reflect the internal state you have chosen to embody. The secret is consistency. One elevated moment is powerful, but sustained embodiment transforms your life. The more you practice living as if, the more natural it becomes. The more you act, think, and feel like your highest self, the less you identify with the old self. Eventually, you stop trying to become someone new and realize you already are. The future you longed for no longer feels distant because you are living it now. That is embodiment, not waiting for your reality to change before you feel different, but feeling different so your reality has no choice but to change. It is stepping into the energy of your highest self every single day until your body, your mind, and your field are aligned with that version of you. When that alignment is complete, your life transforms not by chance, but by the natural law of coherence. When you begin to see yourself not as a victim of circumstance, but as a participant in creation, everything changes. The moments of alignment that appear in your life are not random, they are invitations, they are reminders that you are part of a larger rhythm, a deeper intelligence, a field of energy that is always available, always responsive, always listening. And the words you speak in those moments are not simply sounds, they are frequencies, vibrations that echo through your body and into the invisible fabric of reality. With every declaration, you are either repeating the past or declaring the future. The choice is always yours. When you choose to direct those words with intention, you begin to rewire the subconscious programs that have kept you trapped in cycles of limitation. You step out of old stories, old identities, and old emotional addictions, and you teach your body to feel the future before it arrives. You align thought and feeling with such clarity and coherence that your subconscious accepts the new self as truth. And once the subconscious believes, your life reorganizes to match that belief. At the same time, you are not doing this work alone. Every thought, every feeling, every word you speak is broadcast into the quantum field, and the field reflects it back. The reality you experience is not random, but a mirror of the energy you consistently radiate. The quantum connection is real, and when your heart and mind become coherent, when your signal is strong and clear, the field has no choice but to respond with synchronicities, opportunities, and possibilities that match your broadcast. You are no longer waiting for life to happen. You are calling it into being. And this is where embodiment becomes the key. To truly create, you cannot just think the thought or speak the word. You must become it. You must embody the highest version of yourself so fully that your biology, your mind, and your energy align with the future you have chosen. You must walk, breathe, and live as if it is already here. Because when you embody your future in the present moment, the line between who you were and who you are becoming disappears. You collapse time itself, and the gap between your dream and your reality dissolves. This is the invitation before you to align with the power of timing, to use words as frequency, to rewire the subconscious with intention, to connect deeply with the quantum field, and to embody the highest self that has always been waiting within you. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until one day you realize you are no longer chasing transformation, you are living it. You are no longer seeking alignment, you are alignment. You are no longer hoping for the future. You are the future, here and now.